Hi guys, welcome! In this series, we'll take a look at the 4th job classes coming in Ragnarok Eternal Love. For our first episode, we'll be focusing on the 4th job of the Archer class tree. For Rangers, they can change into Stellar Hunter, for Minstrels, they can change into Solar Trevor, and lastly, for Wanderers, they can change into Luna Danseuse. This information is based on the data mined from the recent patch in the closed beta test of the China server. Again, these are not yet official and expect that there will be some changes once released in the open beta server. Special thanks to Kermisi, Yulb, and their team for their hard work in rendering the models and translating the skills. Their pages are linked in the description box down below. Alright, without further ado, let's begin. First up, we have the Stellar Hunter, which is the 4th job of Ranger. It is said that Star Elf Stella inherits the power of the stars to the Rangers so that they will never lose their way in the night. As for their skills, we have the following. First up, we have the offensive skill Cold Star Core. This skill shoots a meteor forward, dealing % attack physical damage to all enemies hit by the meteor. It also has a chance to freeze enemies for 3 seconds that ignores immunity to freeze. Another offensive skill is Meteor Pulse. After charging, the skill shoots multiple meteors to a single target from a very long distance, dealing physical damage based on your deadly snipe skill damage. The meteors will explode upon successful hit, dealing splash damage to surrounding enemies within 3 meters. Its damage can increase up to 30% by maxing out this enhancement skill. I think this is just an upgraded version of the deadly snipe skill of Rangers, which can now deal AoE damage. Now let's take a look at their defensive and debuff skills. First up, we have the passive skill Bright Stars. It is a defensive skill that triggers when receiving physical damage, wherein there is a chance to shoot a star trail to the enemy, dealing physical damage and reducing the enemy's hit rate for 5 seconds. In addition, this enhancement skill can reduce the enemy's critical hit and crit defense. This will be quite useful for PvP. Next, we have Cryogenic Cyclone. This skill generates a freezing cyclone wherein all enemies within the area have a chance to get frozen. It can also increase your magic damage reduction by 30% for 10 seconds. The % magic reduction can be further increased by this enhancement skill. Cryogenic Cyclone doesn't ignore freeze immunity unlike Cold Star Core, but this will be useful when fighting against magic classes. Last, for the defensive skill and debuff skills is Guardians of the Stars. This skill removes all your abnormal statuses, grants immunity to abnormal statuses, and reduces a percentage of all elemental damage for 8 seconds. And then when this enhancement skill is maxed out, its cooldown will be reduced from 25 to 20 seconds. I think this will be the most important among the free defensive skills. Up next, we have the 4 new trap skills. First one is Flare Trap. This skill lets you place a maximum of 1 flare trap at a designated area which lasts for 15 seconds. When triggered, it can stun and silence all enemies within a 4-meter radius. This trap can be attacked and can withstand up to 7 attacks at max skill level. We now have a trap skill that has OP effect but can be destroyed by enemies. Another new trap skill is Dark Matter Trap. This skill lets you place a dark matter trap at a designated area which deals dark element magic damage per second to all enemies within a 4-meter radius. This can also inflict blindness to enemies for 10 seconds. Similar with other trap skills, it deals magic damage based on your dex, int, and base level, but is affected by the enemy's physical defense. And then with this enhancement skill, there is a chance that enemies within range are trapped in Black Hole for 2 seconds. Maybe this is similar with Manhole of the Shadow Chaser, which shoots enemies to ensure the kill. For the next trap skill, we have Comet Trap. This skill can deal neutral magic damage to enemies within a 3-meter radius. Maximum of 2 Comet Traps can be placed. There are 2 enhancement skills for this. The first can enhance its damage up to 28%, while the second can inflict fear status to enemies for 4 seconds. Since a lot of players have high neutral damage reduction, I think its primary use will be inflicting the fear status. And for the last trap skill, we have Star Trap. Placing this trap allows you to detect and reveal all hiding enemies within a 5-meter radius. At max skill level, this trap can last for 20 seconds and a maximum of 3 traps can be placed. This will be very useful when defending castles in WoW. Up next, we have Stellar Hunter's active buff skills. First is Meteor Fission, wherein a normal attack can cause up to 60% damage to 2 additional enemies near the target. This buff lasts for 60 seconds and cannot be dispelled. I think this is quite useful in GVG where players are close to each other. But for farming, this will only be good for the ADL build if the splash damage can also one-hit kill the other mobs with just 60% damage. Another buff skill is Starlight Arrows. Upon activation, arrows are converted into meteors and every auto attack causes the enemy to lose HP depending on your max SP and int for 30 seconds. However, this also causes a debuff which lets you lose a percent of max SP every 2 seconds. When you lose all your SP, the effect will stop. Furthermore, it has this enhancement skill which will reduce the max SP of enemies hit. I think this is more suitable for the ADL build in PvP and GVG. And last for the buff skill is Infinite Stars. Upon activating this skill, it will increase your attack range and physical penetration, but will reduce your physical defense, magic defense, and movement speed for 30 seconds. I believe this is the only buff skill for the ADL build that is useful for PvE. And lastly, we have the mobility skills. First is a passive skill Riding and Shooting. This will let you do auto attacks while mounted on Warg. However, it has a drawback which will reduce your attack speed and will not allow Blitz speed to be triggered. I don't think this will be helpful for the ADL build as a loss of Blitz speed will not trigger the Trump Tamer passive, which will reduce your attack power. And for the last and final skill, Stellar Hunters will get a mobility skill called Star Flash. This is kind of similar with Assassin's Backslide skill since you'll be able to roll backward for up to 8 meters. It also has this enhancement skill that can increase flee and movement speed after using Star Flash. This is perfect for dodging attacks in PvP. Up next, we have Solar Trouvere, which is the 4th job of Minstrel, and Luna Danseuse, which is the 4th job of Wanderer. It is said that after seeing the scene where the sun and moon lovers guard Frontera, the minstrels gain the power of the moon with the help of Ails and Tammy, while wanderers gain the power of the sun with the help of Ails and Ambrose. As for their skills, we have the following. First up, we have Phantom Puppet. This lets you summon a phantom puppet that follows you. It does not attack nor receive damage. If your party does not have any minstrel or wanderer partner, you will be able to perform ensemble skills with a puppet. However, you will not be able to perform choir skills with a puppet. I think this is the highlight of the 4th job skills of the performer class, as they can now cast ensemble skills even without a partner. They can now use Lullaby, Nibelungen Ring, War Drum, and Rocket Sorrow on their own. This will make them even more valuable in clearing instances and in GVG competition. Furthermore, Phantom Puppet's cooldown can be reduced from 60 seconds to 30 seconds by maxing out this enhancement skill. Up next, we have Majestic Echo. This is an offensive skill that causes huge physical damage to enemies within a 4-meter radius. If a minstrel or wanderer is within range, its cooldown will reset. If an enemy has received damage from Majestic Echo within the last 4 seconds, damage received will increase by 20%. This damage increase can stack up to 6 times. Furthermore, the damage can increase by 40% with the passive skill, and it can cause fear for 1 second with this other passive skill. I'm still not quite sure how this skill will work in the battlefield, but I'm excited due to its high percent damage modifier. Next, Solar Trouvere will get a new debuff skill called Chaos Psalms. This causes chaos to an enemy which swaps a percent of base physical attack and base physical defense for 10 seconds. And then with this enhancement skill, Chaos Psalms can also reduce the target's physical attack and physical defense by up to 30%. Meanwhile, Luna Danseuse will get a debuff skill called Blurred Whisper. This causes chaos to an enemy which swaps a percent of base magic attack and base magic defense for 10 seconds. And then with this enhancement skill, Blurred Whisper can also reduce the target's magic attack and magic defense by up to 30%. Next, we have the passive skill Aftertaste. After finishing a solo song, its effect will stay for an additional 15 seconds at max skill level. Another passive skill is Pious Concierto. When performing ensemble skills, each unit affected by the ensemble will receive 5% damage reduction. I think this will be applicable to both allies and enemies. Next for passive skills is Getting Better. This is triggered when doing performance skills wherein your physical attack increases by 25 every 3 seconds, which stacks up to 10 times. That means you'll get 250 attack after 30 seconds. It can also increase your SP regen by 10% for every 3 seconds, which can be stacked up to 10 times with this passive skill. I guess this skill is a must-have in every situation. Last for the passive skills is Guardian of Destiny. This is triggered when you receive damage that exceeds a percentage of your remaining HP, wherein Tarot Card of Fate is automatically casted on the enemy. It has an enhancement skill that can regen a percentage of your lost SP when the Tarot Card of Fate is casted either actively or automatically. Up next, we have the new performance skills. For the solo skill of Solar Trouvere, we have an Ode to the Dawn. This increases you and your party's damage to Formless, Plant, Brute, Insect, and Fish race by 15% at max skill level. With this enhancement skill, damage reduction from the aforementioned monster race will also increase. Meanwhile, Luna Danseuse has a solo skill Aria of Bright Moon, which increases you and your party's damage to Formless, Angel, Demon, Undead, and Dragon race by 15% at max skill level. And with this enhancement skill, damage reduction from the aforementioned monster race will also increase. I think Luna Danseuse get the advantage here as there are more MVPs which are of this race. Another solo skill of Solar Trouvere is Sun Movement. This reduces the critical hit and hit of all enemies within a 4-meter radius for 30 seconds. In addition, this enhancement skill can increase the enemy's percent chance to miss when using physical skills. Meanwhile, Luna Danseuse will get the solo skill Moonlight Round Dance. This increases the movement speed and MDef of all allies within a 4-meter radius for 30 seconds. In addition, this enhancement skill can increase the allies' chance of dodging magic attacks. For core skills, we only have one, which is Sun and Moon Fight. This increases you and your party's physical and magic reflect for 30 seconds. For the ensemble skills, we have Sun and Moon Alternate. This will give you and your party either the Sun or Moon effect, which lasts for 60 seconds. The Sun effect provides physical damage reduction, while the Moon effect provides magic damage reduction. You may switch the effect every 5 seconds. Related to the aforementioned skill are the Blake's Fate skill for Solar Trouvere and Eden's Smile for Luna Danseuse. Blake's Fate can only be used when the Sun effect is active. During the chant, the damage dealt and healing received for enemies and allies within 5 meters will not take effect immediately. After the chant ends, all the damage and healing done during the chant will be resolved. When resolving, you and your allies receive a % damage reduction. The chant lasts for 5 seconds at max skill level. Furthermore, this enhancement skill can improve healing of you and your allies by 50% when the skill is resolving. Meanwhile, Eden's Smile can only be used when Moon effect is active. During the chant, enemies within 5 meters are unable to move and attack. Affected enemies will have reduced damage taken. The chant lasts for 5 seconds at max skill level. Furthermore, this enhancement skill can improve your damage reduction by 50% while performing Eden's Smile. And last for ensemble skill is Sun and Moon End. This will give all enemies within 5 meters a stack of Doomsday every second. If a stack of Doomsday reaches 6, the enemy will die immediately. However, enemies outside of the range of this skill will get damage reduction. The performance lasts for 60 seconds. Since this skill is not applicable for monsters, this will be good in GVG to kill tanks within 6 seconds. However, you need to ensure that the enemies will stay within the AoE for 6 seconds or else they'll get a damage reduction buff. Alright, so far we've touched on how the Stellar Hunter, Solar Trouvere, and Luna Danseuse will look like and what their respective skills would be. I hope you guys are all hyped up as me in this new information for the next update in Ragnarok Mobile. The skills are also found in the ROM Codex website, so check it out. Feel free to comment down below your thoughts on the new skills of 4th job. Also, stay tuned for my next video wherein we'll discuss the skills of the 4th job of the Mage class, Arcane Master and Chronomancer. Alright, that's it for this video guys. Don't forget to like if you enjoyed watching this video. If you're new here, I would love for you to consider subscribing by hitting the red subscribe button down below. I would love to have you back. Thank you for watching and see you in our next episode.